Okay, so welcome back to our introductory section. And this part of the recording is going to be all about HTML. So I'll be introducing you into what HTML is all about. Right, so what's the structure of a website? A typical web page consists of the following: JavaScript, CSS, and of course HTML. Let's start from the bottom to the top. HTML, as you can see, is like the structural content of a page. It's like the architect. Most times if you design a web page using HTML alone, it's typically not beautiful. You just see the plain text, everything is plain, you know. So it's just like the foundation of a house, if we have to relate it to how a typical house looks like. So it's the skeletal version of a house. Then the CSS is the presentation. Okay, it beautifies the HTML, it gives it close to it, gives it colors, it aligns it, so that's what CSS does. Then of course JavaScript make your website interactive. It adds behavior to it. Okay, for instance, if you want to click something, you can click and it will give you, and maybe to tell you, oh, you just clicked this. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to move to the next page? It's kind of interactive. Okay, so it waits for something to happen before it gives you a response. Okay, so this is basically the anatomy of a typical simple website. Right, so HTML. What exactly is HTML? Now, every web page is formatted in HTML codes. No matter how beautiful or how complicated or how simple the website is, there is always an element of HTML code written behind it. Okay, very simple. Even if there's loads of programming behind it, there is an HTML element in this. So what exactly does H or T or M, what do they stand for, right? So H basically means hyper, T stands for text, markup, M stands for markup, and L for language. So that's what it basically means: hypertext markup language. What does hypertext means? Typically, it is actually when we want to look at the real meaning of it. These two texts are combined, right? Or the two words are combined. That's the hypertext. Hypertext basically means it is actually a method by which you move around the web. How do you move around the web? So basically by clicking on special text called hyperlink, it brings you to the next page. Okay, so you click on a special text called hyperlink and it takes you to the next page. The fact that it is hyper just means it is not linear. That is, you can go to any place on the internet and you want whatever you want to you go to, you can go. It's not ordered. Okay, so it's whatever is in that content, whatever the text within the hyperlink says to go to, that is where to go to. It's not linear. Okay, then of course the markup. What does the markup means? Markup is what HTML tag do to the text inside them. What exactly does it do? You have text inside a link. Okay, they basically mark it as a certain type of text. For instance, it could be an italic, it could be bold. So that's what the markup represents. Okay, then of course the language. The HTML language it has a code, it has words, it has syntax like any other language. All right, so that's basically what it is. You're not going to be expected to know all this in your exams. You just need to know what you use HTML for. Okay, the practical aspect of it, that is what is key. Okay, so let's take a look at this part of the structure of an HTML. Let me quickly get my Wacom ready. Right, so for every tag, or rather for every code, that you need to create, it must start with an HTML tag. Whenever you see this brackets, okay, whatever you have within it is called a tag. Okay, so you can see everything here is enclosed within an opening and a closing tag. Okay, for instance, we have the HTML here, that's the opening tag, and the closing tag typically will start with a slash, right? A forward slash. Is that a forward slash? At times I mix it a forward or backward slash. A forward slash, that's a forward slash. So it closes with a forward slash, okay? So you see the beginning one here, you have title. It has its closing tag called slash title. And of course you have the body, the opening tag for body, and you now have the closing tag for body. All right? So typically, a structure of all structure of a web page would have all these elements. As a matter of fact, there's something actually missing here. Before you have this title, there's what we call the head tag. Okay, so usually the title tag is enclosed within the head tag slash head. That's the end of it. Okay, so the title tag usually enclosed within the head tag. All right, so this is a structure of an HTML tag. Though you HTML and page, but though you're going to have some other stuff, but all tags all page must have all these elements in them. All right. So we are gonna, when we start practicing, we'll start with all these standard tags. Okay. Now, let's take a look at CSS. CSS, like I said, actually beautifies the page. This is a typical page here that I got from the internet. It is, you can see it has been beautified with CSS. If it's just HTML, you're not going to see all these alignments, or this picture aligned properly, or you're going to see all this. No, you're not going to see all that. This is what CSS do. This is, you see the way you have the title bold and it's all well arranged to the middle, you know. All these things here are the work of the CSS, the alignments, the colors, and all that. So what I did, I removed the CSS elements in this page, so you can take a look at how a typical HTML page will look like without CSS. I have that in the next slide. So that's it there. You can see that once you remove the CSS from the page, it becomes ordinary. You have the picture there, it's not aligned properly. You can see that this is just a typical heading tag, you know, that's part of HTML tag. You can see everything has gone all aligned to the left, which is the default for HTML. Just to compare again, I'll just go back again, look at the difference. You can see that well aligned with CSS, and without CSS is all you know, not beautiful. Okay. Now, what about JavaScript? What does JavaScript do? JavaScript basically is, like I said in the previous two slides, it actually adds some sort of interactivity to your web page. This is a typical website that uses JavaScript. I will be showing you, when I go to the practical side of this in my next video, I'm going to show you guys this page to see how JavaScript actually works. That's another example of JavaScript. You see, when you go to a web page and, for instance, you are typing in things that actually, for instance, maybe you're skipping a form or a field that actually requires you to put some information. You're skipping it. You get a message to say, listen, this is a compulsory field that you must fill. So that's what JavaScript will do. It just helps check. You know, it's like it's interactive. You put something, if it's okay, yeah, you can move on to the next one. If it's not okay, you stay, you have to fix it before you move on. Another example is the mortgage calculator. You can see that, you know, you can type in, for instance, this mortgage calculator is basically it helps people to figure out what their interest rate is, how long, how much you'll be paying per annum or per month or whatever it is. So what they do is just type in the number. For instance, you type in the number under the loan amount 250,000, it put in the rate, it automatically calculates, what you're looking for and gives you everything. Okay, so that's JavaScript for you. Now, so what do you use to design a website? Okay, we're going to start very simple. Notepad++. That's one very good one. So you can just Google Notepad++ and download it, and there you go. You have one editor. The reason why Notepad is good is because it has color codes. For instance, you could color code your codes to maybe red, or just to differentiate how the different codes, what they represent. You can give them different colors. Then you have the Notepad. All computers will have no, not all computers, all Windows computer will have Notepad. All you need to do, go to the accessory section, and you'll find the Notepad there. So I will be using this as an example to show you how you can create your websites using Notepad. And of course, you have Visual Studio. Then Dreamweaver. This Dreamweaver is a paid one, so if you're just starting, I wouldn't advise you to use the Dreamweaver because you have to pay for it after 1 month, I think. So there's no point doing that. But professionals will use Dreamweaver, which is good. Right. So these are some basic tools you will be using to create an HTML page. So, what exactly are you expected to understand in HTML? Okay, you need to understand what we call the doc types, the elements, and the tags and the attributes. So what we're going to do, we're going to take them one at a time. What is doc types? What exactly do they do? Why do you need them? What's elements? What's tag and attributes? So we will take them one at a time. Now, what is doc type? Doc type basically is sort of a declaration that's basically tells the web page to say, hey, I just want to start, and what I want to use is HTML1 or HTML4, HTML5. You are basically just specifying the version of HTML that you want to use. It enables the browser to render your page correctly. Because when you tell them this is what I want to use, then it will go and search for all the add-on, what's required to make your page run properly. So that is why the first thing you need to put in when you're creating a web page is to insert the doc type. And you now specify it here which one you want to use. Like you see that's HTML. So for instance now, if it's HTML5, you just put it, as a matter of fact, if you put HTML, it automatically knows HTML5, okay? Then this is the older version of HTML, okay? So this is what we are going to be learning, HTML5, the latest version. Okay, because it comes with so many functionalities compared to the previous one. So that's the one we're going to be looking at. Okay, so like I said, the first thing you need to do when you are creating a web page is to specify the doc type. And the doc type, what does it do? It basically just tells you the version of HTML that you want to use. Okay, that's what doc type is all about. Right. The common doc type, that's it. There are three major common doc types, which is doc type HTML, which I just talked about, which is the HTML5, then HTML 4.01 script, the script one, that's the way you declare that, very long. And then the 4.01 transitional, very long. So like I said, we are going to stick with the simple one there, right? Then of course, the second thing we'll be looking at is the elements. Okay, this is not a practical session, but I will need you guys to go practicalize this. I will do a simple video on how to get started with this, but your exercise will involve you practicing online on how to get a good understanding of this. So what are the elements? We talked about the doc type, now the elements. So an HTML element usually consists of what we call the start tag and the end tag, which of course I mentioned to you previously. For instance, this is the start tag for H1. H1 basically means heading 1. So that's the largest part of the heading of a page, H1. So you actually have it from H1 to H6. Okay, so H2 is smaller than H1, H3 is smaller than H2, and so on and so forth. So H6 is the smallest element of the headings. Okay, so like I said, the headings basically it's the elements are basically the tags itself. Okay, So, for instance, if you want to write a paragraph, you put the paragraph, P represents paragraph. You see, it starts with a P. You type in whatever you want to type in, and you close it with a P. So that gives you a paragraph. If it's a heading, that's it there. It's that heading and the closing heading. Remember, if you're closing your tags, you need to put a forward slash there. All right. So that's what, it's very simple. That's what an element is. Okay, so let's see the next one, the actual tags. So the tags itself, these are the contents. So there are loads of details list here. If you click on or just copy and paste this link, or go to W3 School, you see the different types of tags. Okay, so we have talked about the tags there. That's the doc type, the HTML, the heading, the titles, the body. Remember I said the H1 goes as low as H to H6. The paragraph, the break, you want a heading, and so on and so forth. You want to write a comment, So you just need to go to this section of this website, and you see loads of it. You have the basic to the advanced tag. So any kind of thing you want to do, just go there and search it. There's an explanation for each tag. It tells you what they do, so you can know when to use them. Right. So let's move on. Okay. So attributes. Attributes basically defined with the A, for instance, which is link. The A link. The A represents a link. So remember, that's the tag. We talked about tags. So you can see that it's inside it. It's within the opening and closing bracket there. So basically, what exactly do you want in this regard? What exactly do you want this link to do? So that is what attributes does. It gives the element a feature, something to do. For instance, this is the tags. Okay, this link, A basically means link. Okay, if you want to create a link, that's basically okay. What kind of link do you want? Because there are different types of links in HTML. There is what we call the href. Okay, href, you use href if you want to link to maybe a different page, or you want to link to a picture or something. Okay, so there are some other types of href. So other types of link. We're going to be looking at that later on when we look at links specifically. For instance, maybe anchor link. You want to move within a page. There's a different type of link, but href is a different type of link. So basically, you're specifying, you're giving an attribute, a mannerism. You're telling, okay, this link, what type of link do you want to do? So the type of link I want to do here is href. Okay, that means I want to link to an external web page, which is in this regard is we're linking to w3school.com. Okay, so this is a link, that's the opening brackets, opening tag, and that's the closing tag. Okay, so let's write it here neatly and see. For some reason, can't get my pen. Let's see if I can get it here. It's not here. All right. Okay, let's see here. Okay, say for instance, we are looking. So this is typically the A tag and the closing tag. So this is without an attribute. So there's no way you create a link without giving it an attribute. So I can now say, okay, to give it an attribute, the attribute will be placed within the first tag. So I could go A, that's the opening tag, A, and I'll now give it an attribute. Let me change the color. So the attribute is href. Href. Then you have to now equate it. You know, give it, tell it, and put in a quote what value are you giving this attribute. You now state it here, just like what we have here. Then before you now close it, you can see it's all within the first opening tag. So when you close it, before you now put a text to say, okay, this is a text that has whatever, this text is what is going to be seen. All these will not be seen in the page. So you write what you want to have, what you want to see. So for instance, this is what is seen here. Then before you now close it, then this is the closing tag. I hope that makes sense. So an attribute basically, you give an HTML tag an attribute. In this case, that's it here. You see, img is an image tag. You now say source is the attribute, and so you're basically saying here now the source of the image called image girl.jpg. So this is the source here now. This is what that means, where it's located. Okay. All right, but listen, this is all theory now, but when you start practicing, you see that it is quite easy. Okay, so just understand that, okay, for every tags, okay, for most tags, there are some tags that you actually don't need to give any attributes. So if you want to give your tag an attribute, you need to put it within the first tag, the opening tag. Put it within. When you close it, put a text that you want to appear. If, for instance, it's a link, you put that, then, and then before the closing tag. All right. One special HTML tag that actually do not have a closing tag is actually the image one here. That's why we use it here as an example. You see, it actually does not have a closing tag. So it's just the image and the source, and it closes itself. So there is no / close image. No, this is one good example of the one that does not have a closing tag. All right. Okay. So our daily challenge. So this is what I want you to do. A daily challenge. So you're going to go through these tutorials. Okay, these practical tutorials. You're going to go through, you click on this web page here. It's actually on www.w3schools.com/ just type this. So if you can click it, go to this page, try and complete everything here. There is a practical session there. There is an online HTML editor that will guide you, that will help you to hone your skills. Okay, in this case, you're going to be learning how to use attributes, how to apply attributes in the code, how to write headings, how to write paragraphs, style, and formatting. Get yourself dirty here, and you see that you'll be very comfortable with that. So once you're done with that, you practice all this, then you now have an assignment for me to do. So the assignment is on the next page. So this is what I want you to create. That's your challenge. Okay, so see if you can create this page. You can give it a background color. I want you to research this. Go to that particular page where you have the 3WC web page there. You can learn everything there. So learn how to give your web page a color, how to center your web page, how to color, how to beautify the text, make it big, small, and all that. So let's see if you can actually do this. I will be so happy if you can. Okay, it's not difficult, it's a challenge. So once you're done with this, take a picture of whatever you have and remember to post it in the #50 tag. The #50. Remember to send me your email. Text your email on Viber for me so I can add you to the Slack portal. All right. Thank you so much. I think this is the end of this. Yeah, that's the end. So thank you so much for your time. See you soon.